Good evening. This is CTV News for Wednesday, January 9th. I'm Patricia Vallone. Thank you for joining us. Well, lawmakers gather in Annapolis this afternoon for the start of the 2013 General Assembly session. Leaders say in addition to the budget, several controversial issues will top the agenda. Today marks the beginning of Maryland's 433rd legislative session. State, federal, and local officials talked about how they plan to come together on the issues.
This is a very, very difficult time. What we face is that over the next several weeks, we're going to have what we call mini fiscal cliffs. We will face the debt ceiling. We will face something called the sequester, which are across-the-board cuts in both defense and domestic spending, and also the very functioning of our government. It's going to make it hard on America and hard on the Maryland General Assembly to have certainty about this. But no, we're on your side.
We also had very emotional ballot issues in front of us that were hotly debated in both chambers of the House and the Senate. Probably the most significant one was the one on civil marriage, where Maryland was the first state in the union, along with Maine, to pass it at the ballot, to give everyone equal civil rights here in the state of Maryland. A great achievement for many people in this chamber, but it was a piece of legislation that was hotly debated.
Last year, the most divisive issues were same-sex marriage and the DREAM Act. During this year's 90-day session, the hot-button topics are expected to be an assault weapons ban, repeal of the death penalty, and either a gas or sales tax increase to pay for transportation projects.
Well, I definitely think we're going to have an assault weapons bill. I think that will pass the General Assembly. There'll be a number of different bills. Hopefully we can all get around one bill and pass a bill that makes sense to protect our young people and our citizens in the state. I do think the wind bill has a very good chance of passing this year. Last year it got caught up in committee, but I think this year it will make its way out, and I think it will pass.
Two Prince George's seats in the House were notably different this afternoon. This was Alonzo Washington's first day in the chamber after replacing Justin Ross, who resigned. And the seat held by former Delegate Tiffany Alston will remain vacant until Governor O'Malley formally appoints her replacement. And the session is scheduled to end on April 8th. Well, while Democrats rally to have these bills passed, Republicans plan to put them to a halt. One piece of legislation would stop the sale of assault rifles. Maryland is not the only state considering the ban. It's also being talked about on a federal level after the Sandy Hook tragedy.
This attack is on those who are law-abiding citizens. It should be addressing the mental health problems. That we've dumped our people who have mental health problems into the streets. We don't provide services. When they are arrested and they go to jail, they don't get the proper services. If they go to the emergency room, they're let go in 48 hours and they get a little bit of medication with no monitoring whether they take it. So let's address the problems with those who have mental health, and let's fix that problem, and then you won't have anybody who's going out there, at least you'll have less people who have mental health problems.
I believe that we need to make some significant steps to reinstate the prohibition on assault weapons and on these large magazines, whose purpose is to provide the ability to kill a lot of people in a very short period of time, not to hunt, not to protect oneself in home or business, which of course Maryland law allows for, a law I supported when I was in the state Senate some years ago.
And that was Congressman Steny Hoyer. Other issues such as transportation and the repeal of the death penalty are also on the agenda for this legislative session. Meanwhile, repealing the death penalty in Maryland has long been an objective of Governor Martin O'Malley, and debate on the issue will likely play out over the 90-day session. The Washington Post reports that if the governor can show that he has 24 votes needed to pass a bill on the floor, Senate President Mike Miller has promised to bring it out of committee. O'Malley says many members agree that the death penalty is not very effective, adding that the numbers are very close to a majority, if not already there in the Senate.
I mean, we're kind of stuck right now where we're at. We have a protocol that requires, by statute, I do believe, a 3-drug protocol, one of which is no longer available in the United States. So the legislature either needs to fix our broken system or repeal it. Even if you were to fix it, it would still be ineffective. And I think
And O'Malley says the violent crime rate statewide is lower than it's been in decades. He adds that leaders know what works and what doesn't, and the death penalty falls under the category of things that do not work. Currently, there are 5 people on death row in Maryland. Well, the statewide referendum process could face scrutiny by lawmakers this session. Petitions sent 3 Maryland laws to voters this fall for the first time in 20 years. Now some leaders in the General Assembly are considering altering the process designed before the existence of electronic signatures. Governor O'Malley told reporters Tuesday in Annapolis that putting laws up for a referendum may be too easy. Opponents of same-sex marriage, the DREAM Act, and redrawn congressional boundaries gathered enough signatures to get each on the November ballot. Who verifies the electronic signatures and the number required are parts of the petition process that leaders say they will continue to look at. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone.